What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. XXL has put up their annual voting for the 10th spot. Their freshman list is coming. More likely, I think it's around June now. Before it would come earlier, but now it's more like a May, June type of thing. And of course, they're going to milk it and get all the publicity they can out of it. So the 10th spot voting has been around for a few years now. And it pretty much this year, it features every artist that you can imagine that's made some kind of a noise in 2015. You know, artists like Scheme, artists like Fat Trail, 21 Savage, a ton of people. And then there's going to be a ton of artists that you've never heard of. You're going to be like, who is this guy? So I thought about doing my own freshman list because out of that voting system, out of all the artists listed, there's somewhere in there, there's the 10 artists that will ultimately become freshmen. So now that we have all the artists that are on XXL's radar, I wanted to go through and sort out which ones I feel should be on the list versus which ones shouldn't be. And keep in mind, this is my own personal list. I'll include the link to vote in the comment section below or in the description so that you can check it out and also share some of the people that you hope to see on the freshman list. But yeah, keep in mind, this is my personal list. This is not saying these are the guys that are going to be on there. Obviously, you know, one or two could make it on there. But I'm going off of personal preference. I'm going off of overall career thus far. And, you know, those are my two criterias. So, starting things off is Anderson .Paak. I think Anderson has one of the best albums of the year so far with Malibu. And every time I've seen him perform, mainly just through YouTube videos, because I haven't seen him live in person yet, but every time I've seen him perform through the videos or talked about him to someone, they've always praised him and regarded him in a high favor. So Anderson is really a no-brainer pick for me. Next up is Cozz. Cozz had Nothing Personal earlier this year, and I think it was a really good album. I reviewed it and talked about it, and I think he's onto something. And I think having this freshman cover would, you know, kind of elevate him. But at the same time, I'm kind of wondering because I didn't see Boss on the freshman voting list. And it is weird. There's also Kehlani who's absent. But at the same time, I guess I kind of get it. But then you got to look at, like, some of the artists that are on the voting list have more albums out than Boss or Kehlani. So it's kind of like, why are they missing? I don't know. But Cozz, definitely one of the people that deserves the look. Lil Dicky. I know this might be a shock to a lot of people, but Lil Dicky can rap. He's a good rapper. And more than just being a good rapper, he's entertaining. He's funny. He comes up with really out-of-the-box concepts. Take Professional Rapper, the song, not the album. The song has Snoop Dogg, and it's them two having a conversation back and forth about becoming a professional rapper. Like, it's probably one of the best rapping parts that I've heard Snoop Dogg on in a long time. And obviously you can't deny Save That Money. It was a strong record. And again, it's creative. Having Fetty Wap singing about saving money and then having Rich Homie come on for like half of 16 and talk about, you know, all the things that are against saving the money, and then Lil Dicky stopping him midway through. It was funny. So that's why I think Dicky should be on the list. He's made much of an impact to do so, and regardless, you got to give him some kind of a credit. Next up, Little Simz. She is one of the nicest UK rappers that I've ever heard. She dropped her debut album, A Curious Case. A Curious Tale of Trials Plus Persons. That is a hard album title to remember, so I wrote it down. But I was impressed when I listened to her last year, and she went on tour this year. She also put out, I believe it was a mixtape towards the end of the year. So she's been making moves, and you know, she's one of the people I have my eye on. Another one is Kyle. Kyle put out Smile last year, and while I won't say that it was like my favorite album of the year, it wasn't disappointing. It was actually more impressive than I thought it would be. And then earlier this year, February, I seen Kyle in concert, and his stage presence is amazing. This guy's energetic. He started out by having a lightsaber battle with his DJ, and his stage setting was Super Mario Brothers. Like, he's just like that fun, relatable nerd that makes fun, happy music. So that's why I would put Kyle on the list, just as an overall pick, not necessarily for that personal, like, oh my god, I'm like the biggest fan, because I'm not, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. Another artist that I would put on the list is Mark E. Basie. Again, I seen him earlier this year in concert too, but his East Hollywood EP was really what captured my attention. I'm a big fan of R&B, and I think he's onto something. I think he has something special, and he's creative and also relatable. You know, he has a record called XX, and that's one that you should check out if you're new to him. But yeah, Mark, definitely. Another one, Montana of 300. If you know my YouTube channel, you knew this one was coming. I think Montana should have been on the list last year. After he dropped Cursed with a Blessing, he should have been on the list. But I guess it makes a little more sense now, because at the time, I remember when the voting for 2015 came out, he wasn't on it, nor was he even on XXL's site. I searched his name, and XXL had never posted anything. They just now started posting him. So he's one of the people that deserves it. Nobody on the list of the voting gets 12 million views like Montana. Montana is already a certified artist. He is a huge deal on the internet, and I don't know how much that translates into his touring, because he hasn't done that much, but his debut album Fire in the Church is coming out in May, and it'd be the perfect build up to have him appear on the cover and get his eyes on a bunch of other people, because he's just that talented. Another pick that I'm going to go with is Michael Christmas. I seen Michael Christmas go on tour with Logic and Mac Miller in 2015, as well as release What a Weird Day. In, I believe it was October he released that. But he's been grinding. The fact that you can get on a Logic and Mac Miller tour in the span of a year is a huge step in the right direction, because those two artists have fan bases that rival almost no one. They have such loyalty, so when they see somebody perform, like I've seen Michael really progress since he dropped his debut project, Is This Art, in 2014. So I think he is someone who has worked hard enough for it, and he has the music to back it up. So Michael Christmas definitely deserves a spot. Another person that fits that same profile is Rome Fortune. Rome hasn't toured with anybody that huge yet, but he's made an impact in terms of his debut album, Jerome Raheem Fortune. Very unique, and I like that he didn't box himself into anything. He was going all over the place in a good way. And then he's going on tour later this year, in a couple months actually, and he's been on tour. He's been, he's just been working, man. He got his deal through Fool's Gold to put out the album, so he's been grinding and working, and I think he's somebody who deserves that look. And my last pick, because I'm only choosing 10, Ye Ali. If you haven't heard his name, maybe you're not on social media as much, but he has a huge social media following, and not even saying like he has, 10,000 followers. He has like, I want to say 5,000-6,000 followers, but they're really set on showing love to him. They retweet everything. I see his name pop up on my timeline all the time. And then he put out this record called Ring. And it is one of the nicest singles that I've heard in 2016. Like, if some major labels listened to that record and decided to push it, decided to come up with some kind of deal and push it, it could be a hit. And I think it's only a matter of time before Ye Ali gets that deal, and he gets that, that radio look, because he has the sound. And he hasn't put out a project in a while now. His next project is supposed to be an EP with Kurt Bangs, and he has a record coming with Ty Dolla $ign, and he's working on his own project titled Private Suite. So there's a lot coming from him, and I think it's going to be a really good year for him. So if XXL was smart, they'd get on the train now before it's too late. But those are my 10 picks. And obviously I could have included artists like Scheme, who I'm a huge fan of, and I think there was others too. I'm blanking on other names, but I didn't include Scheme for the sole fact that I think he's past that whole freshman idea. It's kind of like when people were saying Dom Kennedy should be on it for several years in a row, and it's like Dom's pretty much surpassed that. So that's why I didn't include Scheme, even though I'm a huge fan. And I don't know. So I'll include the link in the description below, and I would love to know what your picks are for XXL Freshman 2016. Who should make the list? Do you like my list? Was there anybody that you changed? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.